Hello, hello, hey, sweet people. Welcome to another episode of Inglês, Rádio, an English podcast that also
brings you joy.
brings you joy.
Every single day.
Alexia and I are trying to find a new tagline. How would you say like a tagline or like a catchy phrase in English?
Like a slogan.
Or a slogan.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have a Portuguese word for that?
I'm really bad at this today. I can't remember anything like in Portuguese to make the translation or the correlation. But I would say slogan.
Lema?
No.
Yeah. Alexia is not great at direct translation.
I don't know how
if you ask
students.
her.
I have no idea how I have students.
Anyways, hey, sweet people. My name is Foster. As always, I'm here with
Alexia.
And today is the last day that we are doing this little experiment called 36 Questions. So this was a really popular news article from maybe 5 years ago. These are 36 questions that help you like connect with other people. And Alexia and I have been asking each other some of the questions, and it's been really interesting, I think.
Yes. Yes,
so if you have not listened to the past episodes, maybe a good idea to start there. But today, you ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay, Alexia, let's start with a fun one. I'm already laughing just thinking about this one. Share an embarrassing moment in your life. So the first thing that comes to mind, what is something super embarrassing?
Am I starting?
You're starting, baby.
Okay. So I have to tell a little bit of a background story so everyone will be on the same page and understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
My mom...
Can I give you 2 recommendations really quick?
Mm-hmm.
The way you said that, I have to give a little bit of background story. That's totally fine.
Tell.
Yeah. I think the easiest way to say this is just to give some context. And I just want our listeners to pay attention that this is like one of the most difficult things to do in any language, is to like set up a story where you're talking in the past and then you're moving back to the present. And I always recommend to try to keep it as simple as possible. So you don't want to think about like, okay, if my mom was like, you want to try to keep the simple tenses, and those are my recommendations.
Yes.
Please continue.
So the context is my mom, she was a ballet dancer from the Teatro Municipal of Rio de Janeiro, right?
Mm-hmm. The municipal theater.
Yes. So she only stopped dancing because of me when she got pregnant of me. Okay.
When she got pregnant with you.
With me, which is really weird, but that's fine. But so she knew everyone from Teatro Municipal, and I started to go to watch ballet, to attend to ballets. Can I say that?
Yeah, I started going to ballets
when I was pretty young, pretty young, like 2 years old. So
2 years old?
Yes.
That is very young.
Yes, it was when I said, I want to dance ballet as well. Well, so everyone there still knew my mom, and they knew me as well. I was Ana Maria Campos' daughter. So, yeah.
Okay.
When I was a little bit older, like 11 years old, 13 years old, more or less, we were there. I don't know which ballet we were attending to. I have no idea, but my mom took me to the coxia. How do you say that? Like the palco itself, when you are not at a stage, but you are like next to the stage.
Backstage?
Yes. So she took me to the backstage.
Yeah, we just say she took me backstage.
Okay.
So you have the stage and then backstage.
She took me backstage between acts. So she could talk to everyone and say, hey, guys, da-da-da-da-da.
Uh-huh. Can I give you a quick pause real quick? Between acts.
Yes.
Yeah. So act, how do you say that in Portuguese?
Ato.
Ato. This is a really difficult sound in English. So this is the same sound like apple, cat, hat, master. So it's that really open and front sound. So imagining you're opening your mouth a lot. You're pushing your tongue, your teeth, your lips to the front of your mouth. It looks like your mouth is making a square shape. Ah, ah.
Act.
Acts.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
If not, I was almost hearing like X, which kind of sounds like eggs or something like that.
Okay. So we were there and we were talking to everyone, all the ballet dancers and the scenographers, the scenography people. Maybe.
How do we say that?
Okay. So with everyone, and especially with the costume designer, so the figurinista, the person who makes literally all the clothes from the ballet.
Okay.
And then my mom was like, oh, I love all the costumes, they are great, ta-da-da, ta-da-da, ta-da-da. Before all of that, we met one of the ballet dancers that was my mom's friend, and she was complaining a lot about her costume, that it was itching her, that it was extremely heavy for her to dance.
Mm-hmm. That it was making her itch.
Yes, and it was like an awful experience. I heard that, right? I was next to my mom at that point. And then when we were talking to the costume designer, when my mom was like, yeah, I love all the costumes, I turned to that guy and I say, well, apparently it's too heavy for the ballet dancers to dance. So I don't know about that. Myself with like 13 years old, looking to an older guy, extremely capable of his profession, and like just talking, saying horrible things about his 5 months of work right
hey,
there.
Hey man, you're terrible at your job.
And then my mom looked at me and she was...
My mom looked at me
and she was like, why are you saying that? What's happening right now? And I remember that she grabbed my arm and she was like, how do you say that? Beliscão.
Pinching you?
Yeah, pinching me.
Pinching.
So hard that I was like, what, Mom?
What? This guy sucks.
Well, yes, I'm just saying the truth. You were the one who's always saying to me, Alexia should always say the truth. So, yes, it was horrible.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Yes. And then the guy would never talk to me again.
That's understandable. Really good job, Alexia. Can I give you a couple of comments?
Yes.
You did an excellent job explaining that story, especially in the beginning when you were setting the context and kind of giving background. When you were getting closer to the actual embarrassing moment, I see this happen a lot with our students. Like when you're telling the real part of the story, then you kind of started changing to the present occasionally and making a couple like normal mistakes with verb conjugations, which is totally fine. But one mistake I do want to point out, you said when I was with 13 years old.
When I was 13 years old, yeah.
Yes.
I was very excited about telling the story. And I'm horrible with storytelling, even in Portuguese. So
that's not true.
I think I am.
You're a great storyteller.
I don't think I am.
Okay, so if you had to summarize that story very quickly, you would just say, I told a very important costume designer that he was terrible at his job.
Yes.
And my mom was very mad.
Yes, more or less. And it was a very important ballet, like, I don't know, Nutcracker, Coppelia. I don't remember which one. Maybe the Nutcracker. But yeah, it was awful.
Yeah, it sounds awful. But
não posso te levar pra nenhum lugar agora. não posso te apresentar mais pra ninguém.
So I know this can be very embarrassing to tell embarrassing stories, but I think this is a great exercise for all of our listeners to do, is just practice telling stories, because storytelling is a skill and it is essential for speaking languages.
Mm-hmm.
It's fundamental for conversations.
My dad is a pretty good storyteller, but he is very descritivo.
Yes, I imagine your dad in English would have some problems with telling a lot of unnecessary details. Yeah, but this idea of telling embarrassing stories, I think it's an excellent exercise for your English, because you're practicing the past, you're practicing the art of storytelling, and also you're practicing a little bit of like comedy and humor and vulnerability. So even if you're not having a real conversation with a native speaker, you can at least experiment recording yourself telling a story and see if you can really make the story make sense, make it funny. And I think that will really help you improve your English.
Yes.
Cool. I think that's great for today, Alexia. Tomorrow, if you want, I can tell my embarrassing story, or we don't have to do that. Totally up to you. But until then, keep up the good fight.
And as well. Bye.